Hey, it's Karim with the Stratford Vibe Exchange. Welcome back to another episode. We're filming right now in the Fresh and Free Studios at Nancy Campbell Academy, downtown Stratford. I have a very special guest. Her name is Elise. Please welcome yourself.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
So we just spent some time looking at colors and paints and thinking about what spoke to us.
Yeah.
You said, is that a process you do kind of every time?
I do. I didn't start artwork the way a lot of people do. I didn't do it in school. I do it for therapy. It took me a really long time to actually call myself an artist because,
like you said, very selfish.
This is just for me. Right. I also create art for, to inspire and put on people's walls, but that took a long journey to get there. But this is purely when you have that, when you're feeling so many emotions and you just have that block in you and you don't have the words to express it or even the courage to express it. Sometimes it's so difficult to even say the words, but you need to still release it. Right. And you need to release it in a positive way. Right. And this, for me, was my way to talk without using words and express what I needed to express,
Well, I'm so happy you're here because, I am usually focused on expressing myself with words.
Exactly.
Basically my whole life. And I've only used color and paints maybe once or twice, like during COVID, when I did have that feeling.
Cool.
I did paint.
Oh, good.
But I just was doodling around a bit, and it felt.
That's what it is.
I felt very free. I think mostly because I didn't have to use my normal words medium of expression, and so I could use those colors. But I didn't know what I was doing, so I'm really honored and really excited that you're here to guide this process. Yeah. And hopefully we get really vulnerable and cry, and then we have a plan to light these on fire.
Yeah. Well, that's the best thing is that you create something, and then because you're taking it out, and it just makes it disappear. It doesn't exist in this earth anymore when you burn it up. Wow. When you destroy it, it doesn't exist. And so I think that helps with healing. That helps with whatever you're dealing with. It doesn't have to be the big stuff either. You can just be having a really bad day.
Having a rough Tuesday.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be, some traumatic event. It's just about processing without using words. Words can be exhausting sometimes, you know, and
so welcome to the podcast where we talk and use words.
Yeah, I know. That's actually really funny.
We can make it a silent podcast.
It's going to be a silent film.
Yeah. We'll just put some
black
music
and white
on
and music.
So our rough plan is to just get going and then talk as we go.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that right?
I think so. I think we'll do our inner dialogue out.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So I was telling you earlier that, this week I've been focusing on the 10 martyrs that got martyred 40 years ago. And I've just been for the Baha'i faith. And I've just been focusing on that. And it's just, it's heavy. It's heavy stuff.
Very heavy, yeah.
And I try to... I wouldn't say I try to channel them, but I try to read up about their stories and just try to create paintings that showed who they were, their essence. And I think by doing that, I held on to a lot. So today actually is a really good day for me to just,
great.
So I think if you could focus on something like that, what is it that traps you? Right. And be vulnerable to everybody.
Well, it's really interesting you say that and I plan to be as vulnerable as I can, but it's interesting you say that because I just made a song for those same women. Yeah. And the process of making it's intense when you read about their stories, it's heavy stuff and it's inspiring, but it does leave a toll just to read the stories in detail. And I shared the stories with my kids but different versions. I shared just, just the basic points, and I couldn't bring myself to share all the details. And even in the song, we didn't say all the details.
Yeah.
It's almost too much.
It is.
So maybe it's a moment for me too. I don't know. Like, it's a moment for you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I think I released the song, I kind of felt a little bit of that. Like, okay, it's out there.
It's out.
And I did feel a burden released.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a burden, but it kind of like an emotional toll, like you're talking about. That's weird. I've never actually talked about that out loud before. Hey, vulnerable.
No, I think it's good to just kind of
it's happening,
feel
Victor.
It is.
Sorry.
I think feel it. Just feel it. And then the great part is that you are going from your mind down into your hands. And I'm not looking over at your paper and going, that's not what that is,
okay.
And you're not looking over to mine going, oh, I want to hang that on the wall. Because we're not creating a piece of art here.
Right.
We're just using this medium, which is beautiful, to create something that is expressing this feeling,
Wow, okay.
And so it's going to disappear at the end of this. There's no...
Right.
It's not about, it really isn't about the end product. And I think we get so caught up with painting and artwork and think we have to create to inspire.
Yeah.
And that is one side of art, to create, to inspire, to let somebody feel something else, But I think in this sense, this is our selfish side going, okay, I've got a whole lot of stuff going on and I don't know how to release it. I don't want to use words. And I'm going to
that
do
can
it this way.
backfire sometimes.
It can.
But I think it's interesting what you said. It's like, because we have a twofold responsibility in the world. One, to improve ourselves, and one, to improve the world around us.
Yeah.
So I've never thought about it in terms of art, though, to be honest. So if you were thinking about painting for the sake of uplifting the masses or whatever, that's one line of action.
That
and
is.
Just as important is to uplift yourself.
Yes.
And one way to uplift yourself, sounds like you're saying, is to unleash those
I think so. I mean, I'm
tense emotions.
I'm no doctor or scientist, but I feel this is what's worked
You are
for
in
me.
my eyes.
Yay.
Art doctor.
Yep. That's my title from now on.
Yeah.
The art doctor.
The art
in
doctor
the
of
house.
Stratford. Hey. So far, each person I've had a little name for.
Okay, well, there you go. That's my name. That's my title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So maybe we should just start.
Yeah, let's start. Let's start with the art doctor of Stratford.
There's no... Yes. So there's no right and wrong. I'm just going to... I don't know. I'm just going to pick up something.
Okay.
And I'm just going to start.
I'm with it.
I'm not doing anything. It's really about... You're not even looking at the paper. You are just thinking what you're thinking. You're feeling what you're feeling. And you're just like moving.
Sorry, I
like
looked
a
at your
dance.
paper just now.
Don't look. It's like a dance.
But I'm not comparing.
Actually. No, don't compare. Don't
I'm not
compare.
comparing.
Yeah.
A dance, okay.
Yeah. You know how like there's some dances out there that you see them and you know that they're doing it for themselves. I mean, they're beautiful to look at, but you see it.
Like
you see they're just like in it and they're lost in it. And it's like that with music. You know, you see the singer that's doing it for the first time. She's lost in it or he's lost in it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes something else.
Oh, 100p.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you got it.
I remember making a record for this young girl whose father was a billionaire in Toronto. It was an amazing project. I was excited to be a part of it. But then I went to this youth camp to volunteer.
Oh yeah.
And I was kind of stuck in that world of trying to make money in the music business and all that.
Yeah.
But when I went to that youth camp, after that experience, we had just a bunch of hand drums. We were just jamming on the drums.
Yeah.
And it was that exact feeling. No one was trying to impress anyone.
That's
or
right.
try to earn an income from music or anything, which there's nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
But I felt that pure form of music.
Yeah.
And so actually ever since that moment, I've been trying to just pursue that. That's actually what led me to Nancy Campbell.
That's perfect.
Which is pretty wild.
Like you remember that feeling of the after effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact that you're trying to go back to that feeling.
Yeah.
Is this? It's you release something out. You felt something. You felt a lightness, or you felt a connection. I think this is something like that for me too. It's I'm able to release. I'm not good with words. But I have a lot in my head.
Right.
You know, and
so it needs to
come out
somehow.
It really does.
Yeah. Wow.
You know?
Amazing.
I was really quite lucky. I was 16 years old, and I was going through a lot. And I think as a youth, the youth go. I think as parents, we kind of undermine them. Like, you go through a lot as a youth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotions.
There's not many 16-year-olds not going through a lot.
Exactly.
Although some more than others, but generally speaking, it's a tumultuous time.
It is. And I was so blessed that I met a family that saw me without me having to use any words. They just got me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so they took me under their wing. And it was the mum that actually said, here's a paint set. Create something.
Wow. So that's how you
and
got
this
introduced.
is how I got into it. Because, you know, my older sisters are, you know, one's a singer and one's an amazing artist. Like, she did artwork. So I never felt like I could ever say that, oh, I want to get into artwork, because I felt like that was already taken enough.
So you're the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and shout out Christina, my teaching colleague at Nancy Campbell.
Who sings as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I thought her and Bodraj were brother and sister.
Oh, that's funny. I know. We don't look alike.
Which is your husband, for people who don't know. Bodraj. Okay, you don't look alike. You're the youngest of 3 sisters. All talented.
All talented.
All amazing.
Amazing. But yeah, so I never thought I was an artist, because that was already taken. You know, like the younger sibling kind of thing. I don't want to meet up to that. Like, I don't want to go to that level.
Yeah, I had the same thing, but with scholarly pursuits.
Oh, right. Well, that's Christina too. Like,
I was like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm going to Metalworks, which is the audio engineering music school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can relate. The youngest.
There you go. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I never looked into art. It's not my field, I wouldn't say. Until I was 16 years old, and it was given to me, and it was so powerful. It was because I had a lot of stuff I needed to get out, but I was just too scared to use words. And I was just too vulnerable to just say, hey, I'm in this state, I need help. But I was able to create stuff, and it disappeared. You know, like I was like, oh, I'm feeling a little lighter today.
Right.
Why?
Right.
And then I realized, oh, it's this. And so I would create so much. I think I was in the room with music blaring and just creating nonstop.
What kind of music were you listening to? I have to ask.
I'm trying to think of this. It depends. Like, Michael Jackson was my thing.
Michael Jackson, okay.
You know?
For some reason, I thought it was gonna be Blink 182 or something. Like Nirvana.
No, I'm more of a. I liked.
Michael
I don't know
Jackson.
if you like Jackson, Jurassic 5. It's my.
Okay.
Black Alicious.
Oh.
I know. I'm bringing them out now.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
Wow.
I love underground hip hop. That's my thing. That's my vibe.
Spit a verse right now.
Yeah, that's right. And then I married a guy that, sings classical Hindi songs.
Not quite the same.
No. But it's great.
But that's what happens though. Like, you don't marry somebody, or you don't find a partner that's exactly like you. Maybe
they
sometimes
balance it off and introduce you to a whole different world.
Like my wife Julie, she doesn't even like anything to do with any kind of pop culture, or know about it. It's really kind of funny.
Oh, wow.
People will say something Brad Pitt, and she's like, "What? Who? Is that your friend or your cousin?" Like,
I love that.
She's not with it like that. I mean, she probably knows Brad Pitt, but even if you say like Kanye West, which is one of the biggest artists in the world, she's like, "Oh, who's that again?"
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But she knows those old school singers like Nat King Cole.
Oh, beautiful.
That's her kind of music.
I love that too.
You know,
I really love the old stuff.
So, and then of course the Michael Bublé. Shout out Michael Bublé. We've been to 2 concerts.
Oh, really?
And I used to think I'll never go to a Michael Bublé concert when I was much younger because I was just only listening to rap.
Yeah.
But the guy's an amazing artist.
He is.
I go to his live show. He did a thing where he turned off he didn't turn it off. He had no music playing. None of the band played.
Yeah.
He took the mic away and sang in a stadium, a cappella, no mic.
Wow.
And we were in the nosebleeds in the back, and you could fully hear him. He's got a powerful voice, right? And the show was entertaining. It was amazing. I left both his concerts inspired to make my kind of music.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. The thing. Like,
you draw
Julie
from everything.
opened me up to something.
That's right.
Yeah. So you got a hubby who does classical Hindi singing, and you're coming in from Blackalicious and Jurassic 5. So funny.
It is funny, and I tried to introduce him to stuff, but then I think he helped me with like a lot of things, like with language. Actually, believe it or not, like English is his second language, but he helped me to like.
Well, you said words weren't your thing.
Yeah. Well, he helped me with words, and he was like, oh, well, what is this music giving you at the end of the day?
Whoa.
Or, like, what are you listening to, and how is it uplifting your soul?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of times I had to check myself. I go, okay, yeah, this is not music that's actually uplifting, like sometimes.
Yeah.
But those are the ones I put in the headphones. And
oh my God, we're having similar experiences.
There you go.
Because there's some songs Julie won't let slide.
Yeah, and now that we have kids, you can't listen to a lot of hip hop songs.
Yeah, that's true. Around the kids, around the spouse.
Exactly.
But that's why they invented those earbuds.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Wow. So you have 3 kids.
I have 3 kids. Yeah.
And then I have a question for you.
Yes.
So I started this podcast, and then you had a feeling that this would be an important thing to do.
I think
Is that because you think that more people should have this process to help them?
I really do. I feel like this could be I don't know, life can get really heavy, and people go to therapy, and I'm all for therapy. I'm all for trying to work on yourself, make yourself better. But for you to be to be able to serve, you have to work on some stuff. Like, you have to help yourself a little bit. And this helped me a lot. And I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, there's art therapy out there, but you have to go to a therapist. You have to go. And some people don't have that kind of courage to actually be vulnerable and call and say, okay, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
You have to admit it. And that's hard for people. And it was hard for me. And to be able to do this, like, to know that we're just creating things without, I'm just like bringing stuff up, feeling it. Sweating here. I'm feeling it so much. But yeah, I think
it's okay. We're sweating together.
Oh, yeah. But that's what it was. So when I saw you, I was just like, oh, maybe this is. I was really nervous about it, actually. I think I wrote the message about 5 different times, and I asked Bodraj so many times, and then he was like, I'm just gonna write one too. So
that's amazing. Amazing. Well, I'm so happy you did. Because really, that's so empowering. All you got to do is get some paper and some colors and just go.
You don't even need that. You just paper and coffee. You could get the last bit of your coffee that nobody drinks. You just put your brush in there and just start swirling.
Whoa.
That's it.
Coffee painting.
Yeah, coffee painting. Because you're going to burn it up at the end, or you're going to destroy it at the end. This is like your little diary that you're writing in.
Right.
And that nobody's gonna read. It's just for you. Yeah. Yeah. This is it. I find using shapes sometimes, or I don't know, like
Shapes.
yeah, or movement, or you're fine. You got this.
I am feeling it, actually.
Yeah. That's why we're really quiet.
For the record, yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting to look at colors and see what somebody else picks and what you pick, because red could mean so many things for so many people. You know, colors are such a great way to speak, because one color could be anything from love to hate to, you know, sadness to like over top joy. It's such a great way just to, I don't know, to express yourself without having to use words. And, you know, and then it makes you appreciate art even more. Like you go to a gallery and then you'll see a painting and you'll be like, oh, this color red hits me here. Why does it hit me so badly? Oh, because it makes me feel really like angry.
Yeah,
because it's that red that makes me angry. But you could look at it and go, wow, this painting makes me feel euphoria, you know, like it's so joyful to me. And I'm just sitting there going, hang on, I look at this painting.
I'm breaking down over here.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're feeling joy and happiness. It's because of the colors, the movements. It's different for me and you.
Yeah.
You know?
That's powerful. I remember actually feeling that art was not something I understood or enjoyed. And I was kind of confused why people buy art.
Yeah.
Just to be honest.
Yeah.
But then I had an experience in an art gallery in BC. I was visiting my family there, and I was just walking through, and I look at a painting, and I go, okay, nice, next. Okay, nice, next. And then I turned the corner, and I saw one, and it just hit me, and I just started crying.
Wow.
It's never happened again. It just happened that one time. But it was a painting of like a little boy on one side, sitting on a rock, looking kind of sad. And there was like a darkness to it and a light to it. And I think it spoke to the boy in me, the child in me. And I don't know, like you said, the person who painted it, maybe it had nothing to do with that.
Nothing.
Right? Maybe they were just focusing on shading, and they were like, who knows? I don't know. But for me, it hit me exactly where I needed to heal. Yeah. And it actually started me on a journey, like a healing journey, where I said, oh, something's going on, because I didn't really know. You know, when you're sometimes not conscious of your own emotion. Yeah. That's what was happening to me. And I saw that painting, I started crying, and I felt embarrassed, like, oh, I'm crying in an art gallery, what am I doing?
It's beautiful.
And then it really led me down, and what ended up happening is I discovered I was angry. I had anger, but everyone knew me as that chill guy. Yeah. Oh, you're so chill. And I'm chill. I'm like, nothing bothers me. Like, actually, I was so bothered. Yeah. I was so angry. I had to face it and deal with it. And now I am chill. Now I'm actually chill. Yeah. Because if I'm angry, I can be angry. Yeah. Whereas before, I was suppressing any form of anger.
And you saw that in that painting.
Yeah.
See? I mean, like, it's such a powerful, impactful thing. Yeah. And I think that's why the arts are so important. You know, to have music, to have dancing, to have painting, to have this in our life. Yeah. It's healing for us to be able to serve. Like, it's such an important thing for us to be out there, to create things as well that can impact, to do that to somebody else. You know, your music does that to somebody else. Mm-hmm. You know, my painting that I've painted has done that to somebody else. And I think that's a service in itself. Right. So beautiful. Right. But you have to get it out. Learn how to channel it out, you know?
So you've traveled the world.
I have.
Where have you lived and traveled?
Well, when we were,
let's compare traveling notes.
Oh, I haven't traveled that much, but when I was younger, my parents pioneered to India. Okay. So we lived there for a few years. I think I was 5.
Which part of India?
They did Panchgani.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. That's where I lived.
Oh my God.
I was in Panchgani for 5 years.
Oh, there you go. We got married in Panchgani.
No way. Yeah. At New Era?
We got married at the hotel that's owned by the Baha'is.
Prospect
Hotel. That's right. That's
no
where we got
way.
married.
Look at that. We're connected.
There you go. It's a small world in the middle of Stratford.
The world is small, but the Baha'i world is even smaller.
It is. It is.
Or any kind of sub world.
It
the
is.
music world, the whatever world. Like in Ontario, I've noticed in the music world, I'm not really on the scene, but I'm starting to.
Mm-hmm.
And even just starting to get on the scene, I'm like, oh, that guy knows that guy, and she knows him, and they know them.
They're
And,
all
they did a
connected.
project.
Yeah.
So it's similar, but this is a little wild.
This
though,
is a bit bigger. I'm from New Zealand. The fact that we have
so you're from New Zealand.
I'm born and raised in New Zealand.
Okay.
We pioneered to India. I had the bounty and privilege to serve at the Baha'i World Center in Israel for nearly up to, I think, roughly 8 years.
That's a huge chunk.
Yeah, that was all my 20s was at the World Center.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was very powerful, and that's how I was flatmates with your cousin.
Right.
Jamila.
There's too many connections.
Another connection there.
Shout out Jamila.
Yeah. And I had the honor to work in the gilding studio, which is...
What's that?
Yeah, so if you look at a lot of the ornaments and the peacocks and the lamppost at the Baha'i World Center, they've got gold embellishments on it.
Yes.
I had the honor to be able to put those gold embellishments on there.
No.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's what I did for nearly 8 years.
My God.
A little bit less than that. But yeah, so that impacted me. And I got to work with Mrs. Barnes, who was house members at the time. Mr. Barnes is Kaiser Barnes' wife. I worked with her, and it was just the two of us. And she's an artist. And she's actually the one through conversations and talking to me, because I would create stuff, but I created it really selfishly. Like it was just me pouring my heart out. But then my flatmates would start liking my stuff, or, people were like, oh, can I hang that up? And I'm like, oh, I was having a really bad day, but okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't tell them that part, but sure, go ahead. So it was through her encouragement, actually, that she was like, oh, you're an artist. And I was like, no, that's my sister.
Oh,
that's not me.
You were still in that
Yeah,
mode.
I was.
Wow.
And it took me a long time. That's what I was saying before. It was a long journey for me to accept the idea that actually I think this is my thing.
Right.
This is something I might be good at. But then I had to learn to not create, because I had learned to not create things for you to like. Right? Like I'm just doing this.
Yeah, right.
And okay, if you like it, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I was doing it just that. But now I'm kind of opening my horizons up a little bit and going, okay, so there's other different techniques. There's other things I can incorporate. And I use a lot of gilding in my artwork that is for everyone else. This is still my stuff.
So gilding is the process of using
Gilding.
gold?
That's right. So gold leaf.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like this fine tissue paper. And like you get this glue and you do the design that's on the gate, right? And you put this glue down and you wait till it dries, and then you get this fine tissue paper and you lay it on top, and you just kind of wait for a minute, and then you brush off all the excess and it sticks to whatever the design is. Hopefully. If you've done it well. But it's like so humid in Israel that it will just like stick around. So you get like this fine stick, and then you have to go around.
Right.
Like every line is perfectly. This is like, it's just how perfect, and how it taught me how to focus on my work and to just even have excellence in the most smallest line in your life, to do it in the most excellent way. Wow. Yeah, it really it changed the way I look, because these are lampposts that are up so high, nobody's gonna see them, except for birds that are sitting on top of it.
Right.
But I'm focused so much on this line to make it perfect, even though it's up there. That's the beauty of it.
Okay, so that's unlocking a lot for me, because for those who don't know, we're talking about the Baha'i World Center.
Yes, yeah.
Which is kind of considered the most holy place for Baha'is around the world. And when you go there, the gardens are immaculate. Yeah,
Yep.
there you go. And basically perfect. It's the most incredible feeling to walk through them, and people are allowed at times to just walk through them. But the feeling I had was this strength.
Yeah.
Because I went while we were in South Korea, we went to the World Center there, and I just remember this feeling that, you know, there is a strength available to all of us. And I actually need to forget myself in order to have access to it.
Yeah.
I need to get myself out of the way to unlock that power.
Yeah.
And so just knowing that, I knew there was people like on the gardening crew and the cleanup crew, and they were doing, you know, a great job and working hard. But I didn't know it was at that level where you're doing a small golden leaf on the top of the lamppost that only the bird sees.
That only the bird sees.
But then that makes sense why you feel that, right? And
yeah. Like the shrine of the Bab, right on the top has a pinnacle. And that, I mean, you're standing so far away. You could look up to it and like, oh yeah, I think that's gold. But that's gilded. And I was so focused on, because the pinnacle's sitting on a base, and to make the line, to make sure that no gold was on that base. I mean, nobody is gonna see this.
Right.
You know, nobody. But I was trained to go, I'm doing service. This is not for eyes. It's kind of like this. I'm not doing it for your eyes, but I'm trying to practice perfection within myself. Detachment, like to stand up on top of a scaffolding up on the top of the shrine of the Bab, it's beautiful and it's an honor, but it's hard work too. Like you're hot, you're sweaty, like you want to go home, like I'm done.
Right.
But you know that this is service, and that you're doing it out of yourself. You're doing it because you've been asked to do something, and you're practicing the sense of detachment. And I remember I'd get so fine, like eyes would just focus on this one line, and it could be like 20 minutes doing this much.
Oh my God.
And afterwards I'm like, oh my God, you know, like that's at the end. In the beginning I was like, oh, this is taking so long, like this is hard work.
Oh, interesting.
But it took me a long time to actually finally see what I needed to do. Yeah, and practice that. Once I got into the zone. Which changed me as an artist, actually. I get into the zone.
Right.
And I can like focus on this part for a very long time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. So you were a girl in New Zealand.
Yes.
Who found expression through art.
Yeah.
Then went to India.
Then went to India as a child, and then we came back to New Zealand, and then as a 20-year-old, I went to the Holy Land.
And that's where you discovered this even more, this perfection.
It's funny how you just somehow you attract people that can help you. Somehow. Oh, I don't know. I just feel like I've lucked out in that way, that whatever path I've chosen in my life, I've found that one person that's gone, you need to focus on this. And I'm like, it checks me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it leads me here. And then it leads me to that next person.
Right.
Who's gone, oh, this is another way of doing it. You need to learn this. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I've just kind of gravitated through life through these beautiful mentors in my life. And then I met Bodraj, who I consider a mentor in my life, because he changed a lot the way I look at life. From being very inward to be more outward. Right. I learned that from him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've brought up the word selfish like 2 times, 3 times, but what I'm actually hearing from you is more selflessness. To be honest, the concept of focusing on the leaf, and I think both are at play here.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that when you're doing something for yourself, you can kind of only go so far. It sounds like.
That's right.
And when you start to think about the concept of service and serving others through your art, that's where that selflessness can be achieved, and you're not doing it to please someone. You're doing it for the sake of achieving a state of excellence and perfection. I'm kind of just trying to echo some of
I
the
love
things
that.
you've said. It's
no,
powerful.
I didn't even know I said that.
Yeah, that's I think what you're saying.
Wow, you impacted me.
Yeah, that was deep what I said, right?
Really deep. I didn't realize I
amazing.
said that. But
So
yeah.
then from the World Baha'i World Center, you came to Stratford?
No, so
No.
we met and I got married. We went back to India, got married in Panchgani, and then we went back to finish our service. And then I had my daughter, Aisha, and then we moved back to New Zealand.
Okay.
And then we were in New Zealand for a while, and then we moved to Australia. And we stayed there for a year, and then my mum got really sick. And we decided as a family that we needed to be close to her. And we stayed with her for a year and a half, and then she passed away from cancer. And we were just sitting. It was Christina had come. Christina was living in Sweden at the time, my older sister, and my middle sister, she lives in Canada. And we were sitting there as a family after Mum had passed away. And my mum is like the center of our universe. She, the brightest person. It was hard sometimes being her child because she was so bright.
Wow.
She was so beautiful and so serviceful and so selfless. It was difficult as a child to kind of try to live up to that. But now I'm so grateful I had that in my life. You know, I'm so grateful I had a mother that she was amazing. She would, you know, I remember this one time, so impactful for me. She was out and about and we were going to some Indian festival and she was wearing this beautiful sari, and I remember my mom was like a person that held on to money, like she didn't spend money. And my dad convinced her to buy the sari, and it cost more than she wanted, so she bargained and did her best, but still was really expensive.
I love bargaining in
Yeah.
India. Oh my
there you
God.
go. My mom was like, she didn't teach this skill to me. I'm like, here's the money.
You
just
got to
take
do
it.
the walkaway method.
Oh yeah, she did
the
all that.
walkaway is great, and then
The
they go, oh, come back, come back, come back.
Yeah. Well, my dad and I would just be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, she bought the sari, and so she wore it to this Diwali celebration. And there was this lady there that she had met previously and said, oh, your sari is so beautiful. My mom quite literally told her, oh, come with me, walk me to the car. And she took off her sari, because underneath your sari you got a blouse and you got a skirt, so it's not like
there's layers
to it. But she took off her sari and gave it to this lady.
Amazing.
And I just remember going, who is this woman?
Yeah,
like,
right,
what are
right.
you doing? Who does that? Who takes their clothes off and gives it?
Yeah, not many.
Not many. And that was my mom. That was my mom too. And so, yeah, so we moved to New Zealand and helped her move on to this next journey of her life. And we were sitting there as a family, my dad, my sisters, and I, and we just looked at each other and said we need to be together as a family. It's really important. We've all lived our different lives. We've all lived in different countries. It's time for us to come together. And it was just like, well, where are we going to go?
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. Where?
Right.
And Dad was very adamant that New Zealand was not the place for him anymore. He's done his beautiful journey with his beautiful wife, and it was just too hard. And so he said he's open to leave. And, you know, I made a promise to my mum, but it's not because I made a promise to my mum. I really love my dad. Like, but she wanted us to stay together as a unit. And I said, okay, well, whatever you want, Bordraj and I will just go with it. And Bordraj wasn't even in the room. It's just something. It's just something we just said.
Right.
And then Corin, my middle sister, her husband's in the police force, and she said, "This is us. We're not able to move. Like, this is his career." And Christina's more fluid as well. And so Christina actually that night she wrote to Nancy Campbell and said, hey, because she had heard of it beforehand. I had no clue. I had no clue that Jamila was here, and then a couple other people that I've served with in the Holy Land here. So it's been confirmations after confirmations of being here. that's gone, oh, we were meant to come to Stratford. Like, Stratford's special for us.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
So you're here by destiny.
I don't know what that is, or I don't know what it looks like, but I really truly believe it.
Wow.
We just followed. It was so fast. Mom had just passed away. 3 months we were on the plane.
That is
We
amazing.
sold up our house. We sold everything, and we came to a country that I haven't been to. Bodraj hasn't been to.
Mm-hmm.
Fully trusting in God that this was what we're supposed to do, and we landed here, and so much love, and then people we know, and not just people we know, people that we. Like those mentors I was talking about, Jamila was one of those mentors for me. Like she hit me hard when I was a young youth, you know, like so.
Like how you did that for
young. I was in my 20s, but that's still young now for me.
Yeah. No, that's young. That's young.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an amazing journey.
Yeah, and then we're here, and then I'm here.
Now we're here in the studio.
Painting.
So actually, it was kind of destiny for you to come on this podcast.
I think so. I like this word destiny.
Yeah. This is a moment. We're having a moment.
Yeah, we are.
I think it's really powerful what you shared about your mom being that light, and it being hard to be around that light because it's like looking into the sun.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you love the sun and the sun gives life, but to look directly at it can be overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, now that she's passed, you don't feel that feeling. You only feel the feeling of
the warmth
and potentially I want to be that light as well for the world.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing. I think that's the power of selflessness in our society. It is so rare, actually. It's so rare that it is like shining a light in the darkness. Yeah. You know, and that's the message I try to give to the youth all the time. Like, you can be that light in the darkness, because it's true.
Yeah.
It's not actually that hard. If you take a simple principle like, you know, let's love each other. Yeah. But actually try it for real. Yeah. Don't just, you know, have lip service to it and just say it's a thing. Like,
I love you.
Yeah. Like, actually put it in action. It immediately stands out as an obvious difference to what's happening. And there's a lot of great stuff happening, but I'm just talking about the general current of our society. So
I think that's where I feel like the arts come in play. You know, when you're able to express yourself from deep within and create something, and then create something for somebody else. You know, to be able to paint something and say, here's my gift to you. I was very vulnerable and gave that to you. Yeah, right. I think you will see it, you know? I don't think that person that painted that painting with the boy on the rock did it because he had to. I think he probably felt it because that's the reason why you felt it. You know, I think it had power behind it. I don't think it was just a print, you know? There was an emotion. There had to be an emotion for you to be so impacted by it, you know? Yeah. That's why, like, if you go to like a generic store and you see those printed paintings, you're not moved to tears by those. They're just printed out, you know? Yeah. But if you do go to some galleries, you see texture, you see movement, and there's some paintings out there that just like, whoa, can hit you. And it's like that. It's like that with music. Yeah. You can listen to some kind of music that's kind of like, you know, it's put together. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's those ones that will stop you. Yeah. And go, oh my God, that's me. That's my emotion. That's my life.
No, for sure. Yeah. Some songs make you cry. Yeah. Yeah. Almost in the first few notes. Yeah. It's just the music alone. Just that chord. Yeah. It's already starting. So I really want to burn these. Yes. But I do have one more question for you. Yes. Because I think we'll burn them and then we'll say goodbye and clean up our mess. I don't know. Can we burn them inside? No. Yeah. I don't know. Have you done it indoors? No. I would use a fireplace. A fireplace. If I were to burn, but as you know, there's different ways I can rip it up. I do have a fireplace here, but it's stuffed like it's not real. No. So okay. We shouldn't do that. I guess we'll take it outside. I think we'll burn them. Okay. So I have a question for you. First of all, I want to thank you so much for joining the podcast, being vulnerable. I think we could probably talk all day long. Yeah, I know. That's why we should just... But you've been on this amazing journey in your life, through art and meeting people and your mentors and traveling the world and the loss of your mother and the togetherness of your family and all these amazing moments that have led to now. And you found yourself in our little humble town of Stratford.
Yeah.
So what would be your hope now? For what do you think is the next chapter for you in Stratford?
Yeah. Well, I've been sitting down and thinking about that a lot, actually, on because my kids are getting older. How can I serve? And this is a community. It's drawn me. Like, it's full of artistic endeavors. And I really want to get this kind of stuff out there.
Okay.
I want to say you don't have to be an artist. You don't even have to know how to use art material. But if you got something going on and you can't go to therapy, it's something that is just not able to. This could be for you. You could get a book. You don't have to even destroy it if you don't want to. It could be just something that you look at.
Right.
But I would love to do this somehow within the community.
So you're going to do some workshops.
Workshops. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So stay tuned for some workshops from Elise.
Yeah.
And maybe we can should we talk about these a little bit?
Yes, let's do that.
I'm very excited, by the way, about everything you just said.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I think Stratford could greatly benefit from your presence and your...
I think mothers as well. Like, I feel like we hold things a little differently.
Right.
I think we're so stuck in the perfection sometimes.
Right.
That in comparison, like, we compare ourselves to other mothers.
Yeah. This is the opposite of that.
This is the opposite of it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think for mothers just to go, I'm going to give myself half an hour to just doodle, just to release whatever I'm feeling, and then just move on with the day. You can even doodle with your 2-year-old in front of you. Actually, you could learn from your 2-year-old who's not looking at you to say, hey, what am I making, Mommy? Do you like what I'm making? Because 2-year-olds don't do that. 3-year-olds do.
Oh,
but 2-year-olds, they're just like, oh, and they're in it, and they're feeling it, and they're exploring. You could learn so much from your 2-year-old.
Right. Wow.
Because they're so free. You could paint along with your child.
I'm going to stay tuned to that. I got a 6-month-old.
Yeah.
Who's going to be 2 at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to watch for that.
Yeah, I think we need to channel our 2-year-old. There's something that's like from a 3-year-old. Then a 3-year-old like creates a smile and goes, "Did you like my flower?" or "Do you like my smile?"
Right.
They come to you for reassurance. But there's something that happens in that age.
We probably do it to the kids. We probably tell them like, "Oh, good job," or like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Why does it matter?
And and the thing I face a lot is, which can apply to art or music or any art form, is people feeling stuck and feeling like they aren't good enough.
Yes.
Or they're not talented enough. And all of that to me is BS. Like, there is only us human beings who are dynamic, creative beings, and then this some sort of other power at play that we can tap into if we only allow ourselves to not have those thoughts, right? So I think there may be some developmental thing.
Well, I think we have it at that beginning age, like you have that 2-year-old that is just, there's no music around, and all of a sudden they're doing like a beautiful like twirl, and they're just they're dancing and they're shaking and they're laughing and or they're the music comes on and they're not looking at you going, oh, is this a good dance move? Was that cool? Like, did I look cool?
Reacting.
They're just feeling it, and they do that with their artwork as well. And I think that's what we need. Sometimes we need to kind of go back to that, just to create, get messy, and feel it. And to watch it, to look how the colors combined, and the movement. And here we are talking again.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened here. I got all this darkness on this side.
Yeah. In
like a swirly thing. Because I actually did feel like there was nothing more to do. Mm-hmm. I didn't stop for any other reason. I just felt, that's it. This is it. And then on this side, I got all this life and
Colors.
like a tornado of
yeah.
color and explosion, like almost like a tree of life over here.
Yeah.
And then some hearts. So, and you know, I did just have a third kid.
Oh.
And you know, we got the family, and there's so much love, there really is, but there is also that darkness that we all have.
Yeah, the heaviness.
You know. And I didn't, like you said, I didn't plan this,
Yeah.
but looking at it, yeah, it's a powerful image to me.
Yeah.
To see this moment. And it's really interesting because Julie took the kids for a few days to Toronto. She had a meeting there and she just took them, and she said, hey, you can go do music, you know, do your thing for like 4 days. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. What?
Yeah.
But when she left, like, I thought this kind of stuff would happen. I'd be exploding with creativity and making an album or whatever. But mostly I defaulted to this side.
Yeah.
And I spent like hours just feeling sad, depressed, alone.
Yeah.
And I just thought, when are they coming back?
Yeah. Oh, that's really sweet.
You know?
Yeah.
It's sweet,
Well,
but
they're
it was
your
also
essence.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Because
You want to be creative.
that was my chance, you know, and I thought this would, but really this is happening for me when they're around, when I'm around my family and my kids, and it's wild and crazy.
And heavy
and
as well.
And
like,
heavy,
it's a
and
lot.
there's some of that darkness in there too. Like
Yeah.
it's not all just all smiles.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, so I think that was.
Oh, I feel
mine.
it. Like there's stuff here. There is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel it. It is.
And you gotta.
I've got a, I don't know.
You got a swirl
I feel
of
like
emotion.
it's tight and then it's just slowly it's getting out.
Mm.
But there's a heaviness to me at the moment. I give an example that I'm a duck. You
Okay.
know, like I'm on the, you know, you see me and I'm like, look like I'm cruising. I'm just like chilled.
Mm.
But my feet are going like this
Oh,
underneath.
yeah, right.
Like I am crazy. Those duck feet are
Right,
just like
right,
going
right,
like
right.
this. But just like, I'm like, oh yeah, cool.
But in Stratford, you gotta say swan.
Oh yeah,
You're
swans.
swan.
There's a lot of swans
Yeah,
here.
you're totally swan.
And geese.
The swan are royal too. They were given by the Queen of England.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
sure.
there's a
Pretty
story?
sure they're royal swans. And have you been to the swan parade yet?
No.
Oh, you gotta go to the swan parade.
This is great.
It's amazing.
I love this town so much.
I know. Hundreds of people gather.
Yeah.
And literally, the swans, like, they're kept indoors in the winter.
Yeah.
They're just let out, and they just walk into the water, and then they're like, all right, everyone
it?
go home.
Oh.
It's the best thing ever.
Oh, was they keep them for winter?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. They
right.
keep them safe and take care of
Oh.
them. And,
Oh, that's so nice, Stratford.
yeah,
I
but
love that.
don't try to overpower a swan. They're
They're
fierce.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel too. I'm a swan. I'm not a duck.
yeah. Not anymore.
Yeah.
This is the new you.
I'm a swan.
It's the new chapter.
Yeah, exactly.
You've come to Stratford and now you're a swan. Look at that. Look at that. So we're here with the art doctor of Stratford, Elise. Thank you so much for joining us and being here today. I think we'll probably cut the camera.
Yeah.
And then we'll get ourselves outside and then we'll film again if that's okay, Mr. Victor. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was cool.
Yeah.
This wasn't that bad, right? Oh yeah.
So we'll do them one at a time.
One at a time. Yeah. You wanna go first?
No, I want to
Okay.
watch how you burn it.
All right. So we're like saying goodbye to whatever it was that we were feeling. The heaviness is gone. We're just gonna watch it, say goodbye to it. And we watch it. Like you say goodbye. It doesn't exist. Colors it brings, you know, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it takes on a whole other
Yeah,
life through its
Yeah.
death.
it's a phoenix. Sounds beautiful.
And the smoke.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a cool shot. Your next album cover.
Yeah. Seriously.
And see, nobody knows. That was it. That was my diary. It's gone.
Yeah.
That was your turn.
Okay. Okay. So you just press.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You can't really see it
Yeah,
out
I
here,
know.
but it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
Clearly working. Alright. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I love that you worked on that side first.
Yeah. I was actually gonna just go for it, but I went a bit in the middle. Wow.
Yeah. Just make curls in.
Yeah. Whoop. Whoop. Yeah, it kind of went in the middle. It really went to the life side. Just left me with darkness. Just kidding.
Maybe it's a side that you need to work on.
Yeah.
You know, that just like it went
It's
because
true.
it's
Yeah.
already
It's
perfect.
like,
it's already
all
there.
good.
Yeah.
It's all good
this
over
is
there.
what you need
This
to
is
work
it,
on.
yeah.
You need to burn that more up.
Yeah, let's get that.
Yeah,
out of
get
here.
out of here.
That's actually wild.
Yeah. Like it's,
It worked.
and it doesn't exist. You know, those emotions, it's gone. You're less now.
Yeah.
You can be more from that, you know? Not heavy. Very
Well, thank you so much.
you know.
Can I not burn you with this thing?
Oh yeah, he's walking. No, this is cool. I hope we can cool it up.
Goodbye, everyone.